Do you want to strengthen your back to have better Olympic lifts, the snatch or the clean? If so, this video is for you. Hey, it's Drew Dillon from Project Lift, and in this video, we're looking at a strong back in Olympic weightlifting, and we are going to break this down deeper than I imagine you may have ever taken it. If you want a strong back, if in your mind you need to strengthen your back to improve your lifts, this is really going to give you some key things that's going to help for that. Now, here's the thing. If you're watching this video, I imagine you want to get better at your Olympic lifts. So I encourage you, check out our free guide, How to Improve Your Olympic Lifts Now. It'll give you some tips for your training today. And once this video helps you guys, please share it forward with a friend. It really does help us. Smash that thumbs up button. That helps us too. And make sure you're subscribed. New videos are coming each week. All right, so first we need to look at what does a strong back mean to you? Now, why we need to start here is when you're tuning in this video, we need to really identify what is it in your mind that's telling you you need a stronger back. And this is key because this comes out a lot in our training. I'm gonna really use the analogy of when I was first learning the lifts, I was frustrated with my snatch, and I was for sure that overhead squat, getting a bigger overhead squat would help my snatch. Guess what? I was dead wrong. So if you're thinking that your back is the thing that's needed to improve your lifts, you may be off too. And that's why I want to bring it up. What does it mean to you? Are you challenged at a certain point in your lifts and you're breaking down and you're saying, oh, it's my back strength? And I imagine you've probably been working on your back. You've probably been adding in back exercises, yet you may still be searching. So for everybody watching this, I'd love to hear in the comments what comes up. What does it mean to you? Where is it breaking down? Why are you looking to get a stronger back? So that's where we need to start, because it's really going to uncover maybe some potential blind spots that we have. And I define a blind spot, guys, as just you don't know what you don't know, right? So how are you thinking about it? What's coming up for you? Let's move into how we can get this stronger. Now let's look at what does the back need to do. Now this is very important too, because again, we're looking at what does a strong back mean to us, right? Now let's look at the lift. What does our back need to do? My answer for this is it needs to allow us to move the bar and ourselves well through the technique of the movement, okay? Now let's look at each position. When we look at the start position, what's the back need to do? Well, as our legs drive, the back needs to hold, right? It needs to hold position to allow our legs to drive ourselves and the bar up towards that above the knee position. Now we hit that above the knee position, we're starting to transition into that hinge open. What's the back need to do here? Now here's the kicker, guys. It still needs to hold. What's hinging us open is a movement coming from our pelvis. Our back is staying solid and straight as we hinge open, okay? At that power position at the hip, what's the back need to do? And again, it needs to hold. It needs to remain rigid for our legs to drive into the ground, straightening our body, straightening us through the foot, and that's what's driving that force from our legs into the bar. Now, if you imagine that the back at any point throughout the movement from the floor to the hip needs to pull the bar into you or try to create the force or explosiveness, you're creating an energy leak. You're creating a hole in the movement, because how can the back create more energy when truly to transfer force, we need to put force into the ground? Do you see what I'm saying? Our legs need to apply the force. Our back needs to hold and stay solid so the force can be transferred. That's what a strong back means in the Olympic lifts. So that's key. Keep in mind, if your back's trying to do any of the work, you are creating an energy leak. Now, let's move in to more detail on this. All right, how to build a strong back. Now, I'm taking you guys to a foundational thought. And in this foundational thought, there's 3 components that you have to have mastered. If you haven't mastered these and you want to build a strong back, you're really going to be building a upside down pyramid.
The world is upside down. Trippy.
If you will. You have no foundation for a strong back. And the foundation is your core. And within the core, I want you to think about your breathing as well as the muscles 360 degrees around your core, not just your six-pack muscle. There's your feet. Now the feet are key here. The feet are a connection to apply force into the ground. And then finally, the pelvic hinge, how we hinge from the pelvis in that motion from above the knee to the hip. Now here's the kicker. If you've never even thought about your breathing, if you're unable to create intra-abdominal pressure, if you've been looking at the core just of the six-pack muscles, there's a huge opportunity, right? Because for the back to hold, all of the muscles around the core need to be functioning well, okay? Our feet, we need to be applying force through the ground. So for our back to hold, for us to be able to move the bar, we need to be able to apply good force through our feet into the floor. So we need to have that strengthened up and really understand how to push with the legs. And then finally, that the pelvic hinge, we need to be able to understand and feel the difference between hinging at the pelvis and any spinal movement. If we're at that above the knee position and our spine, if the muscles next to the spine want to try to lift our chest to help the bar rise, that is a huge energy leak. You master and you understand these three components and strengthen those, then strengthen your back and you will see phenomenal gains in back strength. You will see phenomenal gains in your lifts. But here's the kicker, and here's where I wanted to show you behind the veil. If you're thinking of just doing rows for days and other back exercises, and you don't understand that if you haven't created a good brace, and when I say brace, I want you to think of intra-abdominal pressure with the muscles in the front of your core active. I want you to think obliques especially. And then you tighten down your lat. If you don't do that, the back will arch into lower back extension. The lats do that if there's no anchor. So we need to create anchors for a strong back, and we create anchors for a strong back through good core work, through good footwork, and understanding and how to differentiate our pelvis from our spine. Do that, guys, and then load up on the classic back stuff and watch how the gains just flow. So I hope this helps. Let me know if it helped you think of a different way to approach the back and what your questions are, because we want to keep making more videos around what's going to support you. Good luck.